Okay, no wonder it wasn't letting me chat. Usually I could chat before I pre-record. So, are we live? We're live still.
We are live, but
Okay.
yeah,
Does it say SOA or no, sorry, Mayans MC on there?
it hasn't started yet on
There we go.
YouTube.
I think it has started now. Let me know if you guys could see the title and
Yes,
if it's right. That was I still had the settings for the Moon Knight finale. Yep, I believe we're live.
we are.
Cool. Okay, everything's working. So thank you guys for joining us. Sorry for the mix up. Forgot to switch the settings before we did it. Okay, so I think we're good. We're good. If you guys didn't hear us before, okay, good. Leave your guys comments. Let's hear your guys thoughts on the episode. We will be going through comments today, so be dropping it. And then also leave a like I said. If you're here, go ahead, leave a like, get the video tracking. There will be more Mayans MC content later on today. And by the way, happy Mother's Day to whoever is a mom or to somebody's mama or just happy Mother's Day. I got my girlfriend a nice Kate Spade bag for her, and then my mama who always steals my JBL speaker. I got a speaker of her own. So everybody have a good Mother's Day. So, but thank you for joining us right now. Before we get the day started, it's 10:07 over here. What time is it over there, Sandra?
1:07 p.m.
1:07. Okay. So, we are going to be discussing a little bit of episode 3 because we didn't do, a cast last weekend, but just maybe towards like just the recap a little bit of episode 3 because we're going into episode 4 and well, I don't know. We're going to definitely talk about this week's episode. So,
Do we have to talk about last week's?
you didn't like last week's.
I did not.
I think I enjoyed last week's more than I enjoyed this week's. To be honest with you,
Oh, we'll
I
agree to disagree.
I think that's always good though. That's always good. I think a lot of people have thoughts on already the season. There is a mixed kind of reaction of last episode. I think I harbor more towards episode 4. I just really harbor towards more of it was. I seen this episode twice. And every time I watched it, I was bored. I was bored. I don't think the writing's really strong in this episode. I don't think the dialogue's really strong. And Sandra, how I love, characters, interactions. I love, setting up for bigger things to come. You really got to care for the characters so their demise is that much more, impactful. And I really did not care for any of the dialogue, for any of the scenes. It really felt like a very slow Walking Dead episode, like those middle seasons that they would do, and it was just them talking and whispering and quiet, and just them just kind of try to like do something with the material. So I didn't think this was a strong episode. I actually think I enjoyed episode 3 a lot more just because of there were things that are there was more groundwork in that episode because you have, Easy becoming VP. You had Manny with the Reyes brothers, so I think their relationship is starting to get stronger with Manny and Easy especially. With this episode, and then you had the crazy cliffhanger with Randall, right? Rando, a pedo, takes this kid who we thought was his son. A lot of people said it wasn't his son, so that everybody got it right. Wasn't his son. Just took this kid, and you have that cliffhanger where Angel wakes up. They have to lay low a little bit because of things that are going on when they're trying to get to El Paquero, or at least the drop point to take Randall, who's El Paquero's accountant, to him. The kid was not part of the deal, but Conche says, these idiots, don't listen to them. We're going to do it anyway. And then we get that crazy scene where it looks like he is about to, abuse this kid, and then Angel sees this and just immediately shoots him, which I actually really like in the very beginning of the episode 4, where everybody agrees, and then he shoots. I think Manning was it Manning? I think shoots him again. Yeah, I think Manning
Yes.
shoots him again, that everybody agrees that was the right thing to do. Our boy, Marcus Alvarez, even though he set up his own son, I will never stop saying that because he's done it. He even agrees, like, we don't hurt, like, kid. The kid was a kid. So he said that he was the right call, it's the right thing to do. You tell El Paquero, we don't do that. We don't hurt, kids. And El Paquero has a past of his uncle abusing him. So it's going to be interesting what happens with, like, what he does with the what retaliation or what consequences happens after this. But I do agree that it was the right thing to do. But Sandra, my biggest gripe about going from 3 to 4, and what I said was, like, how is everything going to play out? Like, this is now, it's a mess. Now it's going to be crazy because you have the consequences of killing Randell. How is this all going to play out? And this is what irritates me, is they did nothing. They swept it under the rug. I mean, if you're going to put that, and I made a video, like, was this necessary bringing in that kind of storyline? And they really did nothing with it. If you're going to send a message about, like, kids that do get abused like that, of course, like, what's happening over the border, you can even say what's happening throughout the years in Africa and stuff. But what they did was they said, Manny goes, just leave this piece of shit here to die. The coyotes will get him, and let's get this kid to call his parents so they can pick him up. So you don't think that kid? No, he sees all these faces. You don't think he's gonna say anything about this? What just went down? But that's not the one. That's not the thing I'm pointing out. The thing I'm pointing out is they introduced this crazy storyline and this crazy situation, which I said they introduced this to the bigger picture is for the El Paquero to absolutely be furious and all that stuff, and to everything, the pipeline dead. But you really could, if you're not going to send a message, if you're not going to have something to say about that particular scene you just did in the ending of episode 3 or the storyline, then why put it in there? There is other ways you could still have the ramifications, or how you ever say it, with El Paquero and not use that. Everybody likes to point out what happened to Gemma, what happened to what's his name's kid in the fair. But don't you guys realize they stretched that out? They actually had something to say about that. Like, it just wasn't swept under the rug. So I know it's a whole controversial kind of thing, but I didn't agree what they did with that in in the beginning of this episode. Maybe and I thought Angel would have this on his mind throughout the whole episode or something like that, especially going back with nails and stuff. But we don't see that, and maybe it will happen later on, and this is really going to be, in his mind. But I couldn't believe that they just kind of that was it. What do you think, Sandra? You think I'm on the ballpark, or you think differently?
No, I agree with you, but I'm just gonna add my 2 cents to this.
Yeah.
What I was excited about episode 1 and 2 is that they had less storylines and bigger onto, like, the characters of Mayans and,
Mm-hmm.
like, focusing on the character.
Yes.
Episode 3, they went back to freaking square one. They had 17 storylines that were like minute long, and come to episode 4, there's nothing to it. And that's my biggest negative I have about this show, is that if you start something, talk about it a little bit, but continue it. Don't just, like, skip episodes and we don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Adelita, we see her. We know she's looking for the baby. What was that in episode 4?
Where's Potter?
Forgotten. Well, but that's the thing I hate. If you're gonna do a storyline, Do it like if you have 10 episodes for the season, stretch it into 10 episodes. Don't like start skipping thing because like now you have to start thinking on the back. Like I Nestor, why did we need to see him in the parking lot being told off by those kids? And then you see Marcus seeing him, and now, oops, now he's in the club.
The only thing I could think about because of seeing Nestor is to be more sympathetic towards him. I guess they want the writers want you to be more sympathetic towards Nestor, and then like have this. But you're absolutely right, Sandra. It doesn't really add to the story or take away from the story if you
No,
just kind of make a cut. It's like an editing process, right? You could easily cut Nestor being a security guard, and you could have started off this season with Nestor as the prospect, and it wouldn't change a damn thing.
and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like they're putting stuff that we don't give three dots. I'm gonna be like professional on your
You say
podcast.
it, Sandra. Give a shit. Give a
We don't
shit.
give a shit that
There
he
we
was
go.
a security guard. We knew, but to be honest, you just brought up that we have to feel like something for Nestor. We all felt something already with Nestor in season 3 when he became friends with Marcus and they made that decision. So we already know, we
Welcome in,
already
guys.
have that emotion with him.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole parking lot was useless. Now bring him into a prospect. I'm okay with that. But now we're gonna wait 3 episodes to see what's gonna happen with him.
Absolutely, you're absolutely on point. I didn't really mention that too because you're absolutely right. It's like they don't really need to showcase, and once again, they could have had that time invested in something else. Um, welcome, guys. Welcome, Juan. Welcome, Michael. Welcome, Fry. Welcome, RJ. So, is Nestor learning how to ride? I, well, he's gonna have to if he wants. He wants to be part of this club. For first and foremost, it's a motorcycle club, so you got to know how to ride. And if he's on the training wheels, he can get a bike like Piney. I mean, that would probably help him immensely. And we don't know. Maybe he knows how to ride. Maybe he knows how to ride. I don't think they really kind of said that if he did or did not. We just always see him in Cadillacs and big SUV kind of stuff. What's going on, Juan? I feel Nestor is going to be crucial to to this SOA war for him to get the patch. Well, by all means, listen. Nestor has experience. Nestor, Nestor, of course, this makes sense for him to be prospect first. I mean, it's not like a TO situation, right? Going from the Bastards to SOA. He was leading that club, so that's why he already got that kind of like patch on him. Didn't have to go through the prospect stage. With Nestor, it's different. He's in there. Alvarez is pretty much his sponsor. Honestly, he's pretty much advocating for Nestor, and I think Marcus absolutely trusts his Nestor, especially towards the end of season 3. It makes sense Nestor is in the club now because where's Nestor going to go? But he has he has experience. He's loyal to some degree. I mean, you got to say, Miguel's whole thing was he was he was he was already on his downfall, and I think everybody saw that. And Nestor is like, yeah. But Marcus is such a guy you want to pledge allegiance to. So I think I have absolutely no problem with Nestor and him in the club, and with Marcus. And you're absolutely right. He will probably be a big help, especially with the SOA war. I know everybody wants to talk about the SOA war, but let's talk about some of the stuff that, because this is a Mayans MC show, so we're going to talk about some of the other characters real quick before we really dive into this war aspect to it. And I got some thoughts on it, and I bet you do too, Sandra. Um, so before I start reading some comments, another thing too. Holy crap, Sandra! First of all, I was right. I told you guys. I knew it was gonna. I knew he was gonna pop up. I didn't think he was gonna pop up. Episode 4. I thought he was gonna pop up towards the end of the season. Miguel. Miguel Galindo is still alive. He's with his auntie, who happens to be a nun, of course, or at least he's like in this mission kind of spot. Um, he's building a wall. He's got a beard. He's got crazy hair. And I was absolutely bored with his storyline. Like, I just don't care. I don't care. You
Thank
know?
you.
It's okay if you bring him back maybe later on, but I don't need him now. I don't want him now. And then now it starts making sense why Emily is involved right now. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with it. Like, it looks like he's not going anywhere. It looks like he's staying at that little spot. He has that little kid, Tomas. That's not his kid, but like he's befriending him. He's laying low. But like, why do we need this? Why do we
Well,
need
we
this?
we will probably follow up into this in episode 7 or 8 because you cannot have a continuity. So God knows what's gonna happen then.
I personally, like right now, I don't care about that. I care about everything else. So
I didn't care in episode 3 for Emily, and I don't care about Miguel for season. So that is two part. That was two, let's say 10-15 minutes
yeah,
that we could have put into the war, the building up, because instead the little part that we saw with S.O.A was like really quick, and it wasn't like explaining anything. But
we're
God forbid, Miguel, we saw him like he had to put the bricks and he had to put the cement.
yeah the juggle. You know,
Like seriously,
Fry, you're right. Miguel does still have a storyline when it comes to like the Reyes brothers, but do we really care about that storyline at this point? Because I think when we started the season and left at the end of season 3, we really wanted just more of that civil war, that S.O.A war that's coming, and maybe some of the characters like Coco and see what he would do after, and Marcus coming. But like we wanted to see these storylines play out, and we don't necessarily need the Galindo storyline. I said that like the Galindo storyline doesn't need to be in this season, but it's in this season already. Like it's in episode 4. We only have a handful of episodes left. That's what's driving me nuts. Is this is happening again? Before I get on my little rant, what's going on? Welcome, Grill. Will. I'm looking forward to seeing Tig Traeger next week. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, of course. So going back to like Miguel and the Galindo and all. Okay, whatever. Um,
let me tell you something though, and that is what I will add to what you just said. We only have literally 6 episodes to go for the season.
yes.
Usually when you plant a storyline and you skip an episode, usually that's when you have like in soap operas. You start something here, then you can go 4 days without it, and then in the fourth day. But
That's
that
true.
is like a daily soap that you can do that.
Yes.
With a show of 10 episodes, you cannot have that being done. And
Absolutely.
that's the only thing I'm going to add to this part, and we can now move on to what we want to talk about.
I will say if they remove Miguel's storyline, I don't know what they're gonna do with it. We don't know yet. I have a maybe a thought of maybe what they're gonna do with it. Eventually, I think he might go back to try to get his son with Emily. But I think if you take the Galindo storyline out of this season and you just focus more at Adelita, I think Adelita's the more interesting dilemma that's going on there. Even though it's not the most interesting, it's one of the interesting aspects of the show. So give her more time, unless they're going to really just rush job that. Then what a mess this is already. And then we're gonna go. And then speaking of like callbacks, or maybe we might see later on, we also have. And I thought Felipe was closing shop. I mean, his shop is a mess. It looked like he was closing shop. So he gets a letter from Gabby. She's in her internship. She's doing good. She misses him, and she sent him a postcard. And then Ezekiel is like kind of riding and goes by the shop, and then he kind of wants to make amends with his father. I mean, Angel even like mentioned like, "Hey, how long are you gonna be mad at pops?" Um, excuse me. So I'm like, first of all, Ezekiel sees the postcard and he leaves in a huff and a puff. And I'm like, are they gonna bring Gabby back? Somebody said on one of the comments, Gabby's gonna be pregnant and coming back. What? Well, it's been like what 4 months from the time skip, I believe. Um, I I don't even doubt that maybe they would bring Gabby back like towards the end of the season. We still haven't even got to his like this is why this episode kind of failed in some part. It's just too many things that there was nothing moving this story forward. So he's supposed to have a love interest in that one chick, right? We've only seen her. It's 4 episodes. We've only seen her a little bit. We're supposed to have this war. We're supposed to have this conflict. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I love that they are paying attention to Creeper and Gilly, but they did no favors for them in this episode. The scenes were bland. The scenes were just not very I always say, if you watch other superior writing shows, you see why. Like, the one thing I hate Game of Thrones now because of the final season. But the one thing about Game of Thrones that everybody was invested in without the battles was the dialogue between characters, the smart writing, the different character interactions you had that had different personalities, and you were engaged. Creeper, really cool, he's found a chick, but they're just at the diner and she's like talking about his abs and stuff. And I'm like, what are you trying to say, people? What are you trying to say, Elgin? What are you trying to say, writers? You need to say something when you're writing a scene. Every scene counts. It's like football. Every inch counts for that first down or that touchdown. Gilly, your boy did not see it coming. Did not see it coming, but your boy CM Punk was in this episode, and I'm like, where the hell did this guy come from? I'm not gonna crap on him because S.O.A did the same thing. They had a bunch of cameos, they had a bunch of guest stars. They did the same damn thing. I just think it could have been interesting with Gilly, because that was Gilly's brother, CM Punk.
That's his brother, yes.
That's his brother, and then he went to the his nephew's party, and you had a lot of vets there. That's an interesting aspect because you had a lot of vets there. People, a lot of vets who lost limbs, who maybe has to cope from what they served. Same with Gilly and all that stuff. And then CM Punk's wife. I don't know if you got this, but I was like, this is kind of like, it feels like those two have like a past or something like that.
I think she served with Gilly. That's my thinking. That's why they are close.
Definitely that. But I thought there was like a romantic thing going on too. Just how not a romantic, like, he's sleeping around with her or anything, but maybe there was like a link there. Maybe. I don't know. That's how I felt. But still, the whole thing they did for Gilly was still very boring. It still didn't really what did it do? What did it do for his character? He was like, we get a little bit more maybe background towards him, but during a lot of those dialogue scenes, he just was so quiet. There was the chemistry I didn't think worked either. There was he was to himself, which is kind of funny because Gilly is more outspoken. Him and Coco's dynamic is more interesting than what I saw the last episode. What do you think?
No, I agree. And just to go back to the conversation you had before with Gabby.
Yes.
The only reason why I personally don't see that coming in, that she's coming pregnant, is that there's too many pregnancy storyline right now for a show. Like, we already have Nail that's pregnant. We had the leader that was pregnant.
Who's doing nothing?
But bringing another pregnancy, I don't see it. But then again, with everything that we've been seeing so far, nothing would surprise me. And all those storylines, again, if it would be a 23 episode season, yes, you could have those moments that are like lower impact into your episode. But when you only have 10 and you want to speak about a war, that doesn't have its place and its time. As much as I want character development, there's a certain way you can do it, but not having that 5 minutes of, okay, so what did I gain from it?
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely like so if you go past this episode and you still have scenes with Gilly and Creeper, I'm still gonna think of them like I used to. There's nothing those scenes did for me that made me like embrace more. It didn't do anything. It didn't make me understand more of them. Honestly, it didn't bring anything to the table going forward. I hear a lot of people say, "Well, this is set up for things to come." But where was the setup? Like, what setup are you talking about? It was just a lot of dialogue and interaction that just meant really nothing, honestly. You know, I just really, I mean, the best case scenario you could give is Gilly is to learn more of his backstory, his family, you know, what his relationships to now to his brother. Um, but where is that gonna come to play later on? Is anything that happened in that birthday scene going to come to play later on? Where is the
But
setup?
so let me tell you, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
that is all set up that you should have done in season one, season
Yes,
two,
yes,
not in season four.
absolutely
Now we
agree.
now we start learning about him, that he has a brother.
Absolutely agree.
No, because we've been with those characters for 4 seasons. Now you're telling me about him?
It's
Why?
too late. It's too late. And I know I've sat here and said like I want more
Yeah.
scenes with these guys, but when in my mind when I say I want more scenes with these guys is I want more of them to be involved in the club. So
Yes.
preparing for war. I want more scenes like
Yeah.
that. Where is Hank? Hank is had one little scene. Taza did too. And what did Taza say? Again? I don't recognize this club. God, if he says that again, I swear to God, it's been a running joke. I don't understand it. It just why are you doing this right now? Why are
Mhm.
and like I said, if you're gonna do it to move the story along. Have them do stuff that is pushing maybe getting ready for the war, finding out about a war, something, please. So let's get to some comments real quick. Cause you know what? I wasn't angry with the episode. I was very nonchalant. I was just like, whatever.
Mm,
But talking about it, it's frustrating because we're 4 seasons in this. And don't get
Yup.
me wrong, guys. It's not like I'm gonna drop the series. I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm all in. You know, good or bad, writing good or bad. You know, I'm gonna see what the hell happens to all these characters that they introduce. It's just frustrating because you see the potential of the show and they're still not getting it. So just I mean I'm thinking maybe a lot of you guys did enjoy a lot of those character moments, which is great. You could enjoy it. I did not. Like I just didn't enjoy it.
And you know what? And I think talking about it, and that will show you to everyone how we are in 110%, because we can see the good, the bad, and the ugly in a series. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like when you have a favorite thing, everything is positive and you are denied on the negativity.
Yeah.
No, we see it the way it is. Episode 1 and 2 for me were like probably the best 2 episodes for 4 seasons so far. But 3 and 4, they were like just like, nah, not doing it for me. But
And
everybody has their opinion, and that's why we talk about it.
and don't get me wrong, shows like Breaking Bad that we praise all the time, or let's say like Snowfall or Better Call Saul, there is episodes in there that are not that great. There's always going
Yes,
to be a show that has a bad episode, sometimes quite a bit of bad episodes, but they're able to capitalize, they're able to rebound, they're able to get their feet back up and really deliver something solid. Even like Game of Thrones season, the last finale maybe had some great stuff into it, visually great. And then but it just really fell apart. Let's see. CM Punk character just stresses me out. It was very interesting how mad he was getting through the whole episode.
let's just say when the door opened and I saw him, my mouth opened, my jaw dropped, every of those emotions. I was not expecting that.
So a great surprise. I wasn't expecting that.
Not
Um,
at all.
but that's the intention, I think. Seemed like Gilly was a little too close to his sister-in-law. That's what I was thinking. Just the looks they were giving and just the kind of just the interaction itself. He was very uncomfortable at the party for sure. Ahoy, matey. What's going on? Lincoln Potter. Where the hell are you? Are you dead? Because the last time I saw you, you were with Adelita, and Adelita was by herself.
He's not dead. He'll pop up.
He's not dead. He's not dead, but it's
He's
so
not.
weird that Adelita doesn't have him like hostage or something. I thought he was in the back of that car, honestly, like in a trunk, but they obviously not.
We'll find
Uh,
out in episode 7.
They served. She mentioned what happened in. Yeah. Well, I know they served. I just felt like they had a little bit more of a romantic kind of past. Like you said, they both served with each other. But there's something else going on there. I thought, but I might be just looking into it too much. Princess says it reminded us of Gilly being a ranger because he's going to full beast mode in war. But we've already seen him like that. We've already seen him help Coco in the last season. So why would I need to know he was a ranger when I already know? I knew before the episode. I know how good he could be. He went the first episode. He went back to the compound and helped out. It doesn't mean knowing a little bit more of his ranger past. Did they mention anything like he's a tech at like bombs or anything like that? He's a great sniper like Coco. Like, did they mention anything like that? Because that's a setup. That's a setup for later on. If they
Wait
did.
a second. You just mentioned something that it just like triggered me. So we remember that Coco was the sniper in season 1,
Yes,
right?
and he has a glass or not glass eye, but his eyes all jacked up. Or vision.
Correct. So he wants to go back and being the sniper. How? Explain me how. If he only has one eye.
He never said that in the season. I just said like he
Well,
only said
we know he has a fucked up eyes. Like
Coco does.
Coco.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So there's something, and when you look at him right now, his eyes are perfectly fine. The two of them.
Oh yeah.
What happened between last season and now?
And we're gonna have to. Well, I think he might be fine. Honestly, I don't know. We're gonna have to see, but we do know that he's going to Oakland.
Yes.
So do you? A lot of people are theorizing that Marcus sent him to off him. A lot of people think he's the guy in the bike that we see in a promo that gets shot or gets whacked. I don't think so. Which I found funny was that Marcus knows that he has a drug problem, right? Marcus says, I appreciate you staying clean, But so why the hell did he lie in the first episode to Bishop? Like, oh, it's my daughter, Letty crazy, But like, okay, so it didn't really matter because everybody knows you're a junkie anyway. So why put that in the first episode? It's so dumb. So he's off. He made a promise to Hope that he'd go pick her up. I was hoping they're gonna that consequence is probably gonna lead to a strained relationship. Either or she might actually befriend Letty. They might. I don't know what the hell's going on. This season is just all over the place. There's so many like JJ and Easy and oh my god. Do we like?
And
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like they're starting something, and then you don't hear nothing, and then you will forget by the time they come back. Like, okay, what happened 3 episodes ago? That's what I don't like, and that's why episode 1 and 2 there was only like a few storyline. Stick to it. We have a war. Let's talk about the war.
And you don't think Coco could have just picked her up real quick, and just
Well,
dropped
you
her
would
off and
think
left?
if he got sent to Oakland, he would give her a heads up. Hey, babe, you know what? I'm not gonna pick you up because I'm going to Oakland.
Yeah, kind of like there was like no reason for him to not tell her.
Unless we are in a era that there's no cell phones.
No, there's cell phones.
Oh, are they?
Oh,
Not sure.
There's cell phone. So this is connected to SOA, right? All those guys did was use cell phones.
Yeah, well, you would think he would have been giving her the heads up.
Or like I think it was. Remember, I think we were talking like when we did our commentary and we watched Gemma driving in her SUV,
Yeah,
and at the time she was taking a call and it sounded like a Bluetooth or whatever, and we're like, dude, they didn't have that back in the day, you know.
they did
So
not.
yeah, so it's so funny. So yeah, there's cell phones in there, but I just think that like, so Coco is another character that's kind of looked like he's kind of in the back burner. I don't know what they're trying to do with him, Hope, and oh man, forget about Letitia, man. Forget about her. If you were a fan of this actress and want to see what they did with her character, and you saw what you thought there was promise or something like that in the previous seasons, good luck. This is not the show for you. I don't think they're going to do anything with her at this point now. It's just we're too far into the season, and at this point, like, even if they do, it's not gonna it's gonna be a rush job, or it's just not gonna. I don't think it's gonna come together that great. Let's see.
So let me just answer back to RJ because RJ says
Yeah.
maybe he texted her. Well, if he texted her, she didn't get the text because she was hoping to see him at the store when she finished, and she's looking around and doesn't see him.
What
That's why.
texting? You think that? So you think that she got a text and she just didn't see it?
Well, RJ says that maybe he did texted
Oh,
her.
RJ said it. Okay.
I think he didn't. I think he just went to
No, I
open
think
the
he just
guy's
left.
pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's kind of a dick. It's kind of a dick
Well,
move, you know. Like, hey, no, that's dick. If Coco didn't text or call, that's an asshole move. That's not a boyfriend. That's not a boyfriend move, you know. Let's just call it how it is. You know, Coco's still, you know, he's still in the pretty much the bad the bad kind of bag or whatever, or the naughty list, if you would say. He's
he's
has.
in the doghouse.
There we go. He's in the
Now,
doghouse.
literally, he's in two doghouses now.
Yeah, he's absolutely in the doghouse. So my grandma met my grandpa through her brother, who served with the future grandpa. So it makes sense that Paul met his wife through Gilly. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, uh, um, it's not. I don't really. I think that's it for CM Punk. I think that was just a one little cameo thing too.
I think so too.
I wonder if they're trying to personalize all these characters because someone or multiple people are going to die and they want to throw us off. I hope somebody dies. There's too much going on. Somebody
Very
needs to
much
go.
so.
Somebody.
Is it gonna be Creeper's new girlfriend? Is it gonna be Gilly's brother? Is
I,
it gonna be like
I one up you. Why do we have Taza still? He's not doing anything. Should have just killed him off. Why do we have him?
well,
To confess? To confess
well, no, but
everything to everybody? To
we
Alvarez?
need we need to have somebody that's going to be as at the bottom of the pack as Bishop is because Bishop
Oh, that's
now
true.
is useless.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about Bishop in a little bit too.
Yeah,
Especially that right hook he
yeah.
got from Easy. I think that's what everybody was just talking about in this episode. But yeah, I don't know. And then Taz is really technically the one that created all this shit.
He
So
did.
that's what we need, more backstory. Like in Sons, we got to know a lot of them. Go back to Sons of Anarchy. All right, go back to Sons of Anarchy. Watch all those backstories of those characters, and you tell me who did it right. Because I'm telling you, Ruben Martinez, which I love your name. They're not doing it right. These backstory, what are we gaining from it? We're not gaining anything. If Gilly dies the next episode, what did we learn in this last episode? What do we feel more sympathetic towards him? Is that what we want? Because when I was watching Gilly kind of just putting his hands in his pockets and going, yeah, yeah, you know, quiet, so quiet, so quiet. So no, I'm gonna say the backstory that they laid out in this episode was absolutely garbage. It was wrong, or not wrong. It's not wrong to do it. I think the execution was garbage. I think the execution needed to be 10 times better. But by no means do I think they should not um like do something like this. But if you're going to, you have to really make it phenomenal. You have to have us be really engaged, and there has to be something coming out of that they may use later on. Like we said, if they do this while they're like, you know, finding out something about the war, or there's a mission. They're like, you know what Sons of Anarchy did a lot? They did a lot of missions. There was a lot, there was always a lot of missions. Example, this is what I'm going to tell you, Ruben. This is how I'm going to put it to bed after this. When Jax went to Opie and said, I need your help, and we knew that Opie was kind of like trying to fly a little bit straight, but Opie went and helped Jax murder somebody. You know, information. He's trying to fly straight. He's trying to do good, you know. Jax, we know they're best friends. They grew up together. Clay, even mentioning them growing up together. And Jack's pretty much the only one to bring them out. And so we get backstory, we get past, we get present, and then we get what they have to do in the future. That's how you do things. That's how you do it. You just you weave it. You weave it, and it flows. This doesn't flow. There was a lot of, you know what, the pacing was so off in this episode. So off. I'll leave it at that. So go back and watch Sons of Anarchy, and you tell me if they didn't do a hell of a job, or Kurt Sutter didn't do a hell of a job of at least doing that compared to what Elgin is doing and the writers are doing, especially in this episode. Like Sandra said, this should have been done season 1 or season 2. It's too late. Taza is going to be Tig, the character that should have died 1,000 times but stays alive until the end. I absolutely agree with that, though. Like, Tig should have died. Tig's kind of a piece of shit. But we're going to talk, we're going to get into it right now. Let me read a couple more comments, and then we're going to get into the S.O.A thing, Tig, Marcus, and Chibs. You're right. Because when Steve died, they showed more and more scenes of him up to his death, and they want to throw us off with these main characters. When that happened with Steve, and I actually really did like Steve, I still thought that was like kind of a shock value type episode with him offing himself. I felt like there was when we talked about it, I felt like there should have been something else in that episode, but it still was effective. Clearly.
Correct, but for me, that scene of Hank going to see Steve's mom and apologizing should have been done in season 3 when that happened, not episode 4 of season 4. Like,
I agree. But I'm glad they actually added that scene, though. At least, just like the ending of episode 3 this season, I felt like that was shock value. Because where did that lead to? Just the El Paquero situation, but you could have done 1,000 things differently than what you did. Let's see. Taza is going to be in line to is going to be the link to figure out why they're even in the war. Mayans have no idea about Montez. Yeah, that's the only reason I think he's still alive.
Agreed.
I think they're going to kill Taza for not telling them about Montez. Taza's got to go. Taza's got to go. Once all that information's gone, he's got to go. Why is he still there? Because of that. And then, like you said, Bishop's on the bottom of the barrel too. Taza has a lot of reasons to be killed for. Where does Diaz, Conche bitching about Santo Padre and Patrino overthrown, or just Cumbia against S.O.A? So Diaz is still alive. It's kind of crazy. I like Diaz though. I like this character. Conche bitching. The one that's really bitching is Conche. And can you blame him though? Can you really blame him? First of all, this was Easy's plan for Bishop. So I kind of like started to like when Easy's I'm trying to put this in the past. Shut up. Like, I'm with Conche on this. First, you try to do. You're the one that stirred a lot of this up. If you guys would have just like helped us out, you know. At the moment, I actually did like the One King idea though, so I was like, I get it, but like I see Bishop taking more of the fall than Ezekiel ever has even come sniffed to, and Conche saying, you came and hurt my boy, you came after my boy, and you think some Patch or Alvarez backing you up is gonna make me think anything different? You are a dead man walking. And you know what? I would have told him the same damn thing. I would have said, if I were you, I would tread lightly. Well, he basically said, he's like, don't let me catch you sleeping. So I'm with Conche. Because if you come after my boy and he almost dies, why would you want to patch things up to the man whose idea was it and who pulled the trigger? F that guy. I would have killed. I would have even done that monologue. I would have just did it. I would have just said Ezekiel's first, everybody's last. I don't give a shit. Or maybe if I was like a Negan, it would have been Angel first and then Ezekiel second, just to hurt him, just to see it. That's like a Walking Dead stuff. That's some crazy stuff. But I understand Conche. And everybody should understand that. I don't know why everybody is saying like Conche is wrong. Like Conche should just, Conche should just like patch things up. What? Somebody's not a parent. So I'm just saying, but reasonably, right, Sandra? Like reasonably, like you would understand what the hatred for Easy is with this guy. Yeah.
But mind you, if you would have done that in episode 2, we wouldn't have a series anymore because the series would be dead.
Oh yeah, of course. The series has to continue. The show must go on. You can't kill your main guy. I said you could have killed Angel. That would have been crazy, but they didn't do that, so that's fine. Angel hasn't really done anything either. I'll be honest with you. The whole nails and I don't know. We'll see with that, Alita.
I think move on.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's a couple more, and then we'll move on to some SOA talk. I think they'll keep it in house and not out Taza. Just fight the SOA because Sons will strike first, and there'll be no asking questions at this point. Well, that's the promo to the next episode. Especially with Conche and Alvarez, their patience and reasoning is wearing thin. Alvarez sees all this too. He knows, especially towards like the end of the episode when Ezekiel does talk to him about the kill switch, which I'm just baffled why they don't even have that in place already. But then his wife's like, oh, I invited Obispo over to dinner, and I was like, oh, you didn't ask me? Oh, some awkwardness right there, right? Some awkwardness. I miss Coco saying my bad. Tig and Alvarez will figure out the Montez connection with Taza. Definitely miss my bad by Coco. We see him fine in a white tee in the trailers. Can't be Coco killed or seriously injured. I don't think he's gonna die. Okay. Let's move on to this talk. All right, let's move on what everybody wants to talk about. Thank you guys for joining us. Once again, hit the like button so we can get this video tracking because we're about to go down what everybody wants to hear right now. Because if there was one thing in this episode that we could take away, that everybody's excited, is the fact, and I want to, everybody's confused on why I said shout out to Tara. Everybody's like, isn't she dead? I'm like, no. Tara is a good friend of mine from these the Mayans MC Facebook groups. She sent me a tweet, I believe, of Kim Coates saying, I'm back. Like, for realsies. For realsies right now. I'm back. Some shit's about to go down. We're in episode 4. We got 6 episodes left? Whatever?
6 it is.
6 episodes left. The promo showed that we are getting Tig back. We are getting Tig to make an appearance. After so many times Kim said that he wasn't going to do it. He's going to do it. After we said in our last podcast, how can you do this war? Which Montez is the guy who was in the barrel. How do you do this war without Charming?
Exactly.
How do you do it without T.O.? How do you do it without Tig? You could even say Happy. Chibs. The one thing I didn't like, the one thing I like is they did use the song. I forgot what song it was, but that foreshadowed what's going down. like in that whole little meeting San Bernardino had, right? So this is the one thing I didn't like about setting up the SOA war. Is the and I'm gonna make a separate video on this, but it's not the fact that Chibs gave the green light to start this war. It's the fact that we don't get to see Tommy Flanagan mule it over, think about it, discuss it in his club, seeing the president do his thing before saying, "I'm sorry, Jackie boy, but I got to do this." Or even discussing, well, I think that's what TIG is for, but discussing the war with Alvarez. Whew! I was so, it just didn't feel right with this guy coming out in his mouth like TIG gave the green light. It didn't feel right. But I am absolutely interested. Can't wait to see TIG talk to Marcus. What are they going to talk about, Sandra? What are they going to talk about?
Well, I don't know. Because if the war is on, because they gave the green light, usually you don't have really a conversation when you get the green light for the war to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Usually when you go for a war, you hit and after ask questions. So I don't know what's going to happen. Um, the only thing that I really hate about this show, there's one thing I hate, is that it's either they give you the best surprises cameo, or they just ruin it by telling you what's going to happen in the next episode, so people starts watching the show in the middle of the series. That
Mm-hmm.
I hate. They did that last season with Chips. They did that. Why did you not leave it as a surprise? That would have been the bomb. That would have been like so much more exciting, because now we all know Tig is coming.
Well, technically, Tig is the, or Kim's the one that spoiled it for everybody.
Well, I mean, yes, but that's the thing. But as much as they did, then that's what I understand. Like, if you're gonna hide that and be a surprise, hide it until the end. It's
Yeah.
like when you watch a reality show, you know the person who gets eliminated, they know well in advance, but they cannot tell it because it's blah 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 on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen? I don't know. I just hope it's not a quick scene. Okay, green light and done.
Yeah. Oh,
If
yeah.
you're
I know.
gonna bring it, you have to bring him with
Is
the whole charming part. You have to bring the Quins, the rat,
I
the
was gonna
Chib.
say
You
I
have to
kind of want to
bring
see Rat.
you have to bring them all, because that is really their boy. Montez was a charming boy. So you're not just gonna say, okay, green light, and this is the 10 seconds of Tig saying green, okay, go for it, and that's it. So I am not sure how this is gonna be displayed, but I just hope it's more than just one scene, one episode. If you're gonna have a war, it should be until the end.
Yeah. And like with Tig, right? Is this only one episode? Is he in talks of maybe if there's another season, he's full cast, fully cast? Because if they do an SOA Mayans War, I feel like they're just starting it, and it might stretch out to the next season. Like that's gonna be our finale of like everything done, right? Um, I just don't like the fact that we get these guys, right? Is Bernardino, isn't it? Or is it
Yeah.
what's the bald head's guy's name? I always forget it. The one that was talking to Jess, who I absolutely don't know why she would talk about this situation outside the goddamn Mayans compound. Somebody could overhear you. Um, he wanted the war. He wants the war. Why am I invested in you? I've only
But
seen
hold
you.
on a second. Why are you the one that wants the war when Montez was not even part of your charter?
He says he was a brother of ours. I know everybody's gonna say Montez was going to leave and he was gonna join. I think San Bernardino, or he's gonna join another charter. Somebody pointed that out from last season, like with the before the Paulo talks. But he was still a member of Charming, so he didn't leave just yet. That's still his boy. That is Bobby's boy, right? Like
It
that's
should be. It should be Charming. We should be seeing scenes of Charming talking this. We should see, okay, the leader of San Bernardino have a conversation with Tig and Chip, say, listen, this is what we found out about Montez, and let Charming make the decision of the war.
yes. Like I need to see a scene of Chips muling this over. I need to see his. When I say I want a Chips SOA continuation, because I want to see how this guy is on the president. Being a president. I want to see what Jackie Boy saw in him and what he saw in Jackie Boy and that friendship and him taking over and trying to continue that legacy, right?
Before we go any further, we have to bring that short part of the episode when Marcus gave like the Bible to Easy to read about the saying that, one time my best friend Jack told me this, and then Easy says that Jack didn't tell you this. It was like a person, another person.
Yeah.
That I thought was actually a good spot to put that in.
Yeah.
Because we know Marcus thinks so high of Jax and everything that he did. So for Easy to say like, yeah, he didn't tell you this, it was stolen from somebody else. I thought that was very placed in that moment. In that,
I didn't have a problem with it at all. And then you got to remember that, Jax was so young still. But anything that Easy spits out is the same shit that he's learned in books and all that stuff. So anything that, of course, Jax is going to say something he's learned, right? We've all learned something, and we've all said something that we thought was great advice.
And I think Marcus sees Jack in Easy.
Yeah, they're supposed to be parallels with each other, but I think Charlie Hunnam killed it, and Jackson is way more interesting.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like Marcus.
Yeah, I get where you're. Yeah, I get it. Yes. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Easy, but you got to think when I see him now,
no Jax.
He's definitely not a Jax, and Jax has been in that life his whole life.
Yeah.
So I want to point out right here. Let's see. Jason says Tig's going to lose some teeth from Marcus. It didn't look like it looked like it's going to be a conversation and maybe them parting ways and maybe something on the lines of you got to do what you got to do and I got to do what I got to do. Something like that.
That's one thing that everybody's bringing up, and that's why I don't understand either. In the script, in the scene, it says Chibs gave the green light. Why are we gonna see Tiggs instead? Like, that's what I don't understand. If you are talking Charming and you have already, like, when Chip came in season 3, Tig was not there. Chip is taking all the decision. He's the president. Why is he gonna send Tig now? That's something I don't like. Like, there's no continuity.
I think just because maybe Chip sends Tig just to get to the bottom of it, like to really fully understand the situation, to fully understand what does Marcus have to say about Montez being there, because the only thing that Chip's technically we haven't seen behind the scenes or like we haven't been shown, but if you think about it, Chips has only heard from these guys from what Jesse said. And he hasn't really heard what the big, El Patrino has said, Marcus. But if in a realistic, or not realistic, but if it was Sons of Anarchy, you would actually have Chibs meet up with Marcus instead of Tig meet up with Marcus. But here's a comment by Princess. Can't believe Tommy Flanagan completely disrespected the show for his new role on Power, meaning not coming back for maybe the Mayans and not doing what we were exactly saying because he's in this new show called Power, or the show called Power. Why? I don't think it's disrespectful. Tommy Flanagan is a person who acting is his job. he took this role. He is not a main guy. He's not going to get a lot of roles like other actors do. Of course, he would take that power. And the schedule probably doesn't require. He can't do anything with Mayans. And even if he did, like it was schedule wise, if maybe. And if not, if he just doesn't want to do Mayans, do you blame the guy? What has Mayans shown through 4 seasons where Tommy's like, yeah, I'll come back? Because this show's not a hit. Sorry, guys, this show is not a hit. This show has not been talked about nearly as much outside. So Tommy coming back, he came back last season. I guess we should be happy he came back last season. Unless you give him money and you give him an opportunity to be one of the leads or at least be full cast, it's the same as Kim, right? Kim Coates, I don't think didn't want to come because I'm not even like in the like this is not what I did in S.O.A. I'm just coming in and out.
Kim, he has right now a rewatch of Sons of Anarchy with Theo Rossi.
Okay.
And I've been listening since the first episode. And
Nice.
One thing that he said at one point is, if Mayan calls me, I don't want to be a cameo only. I want something that it's like a good story that I'm there longer than just one cameo. So he said that a couple of years ago before the whole thing. So I am hoping that he stands to what he was saying before and that it's not just a cameo of 5 seconds on the top. He is there for like
more episodes.
The war.
Yes. And they maybe like laid down some, maybe they're in discussions. You just don't know. And then that might have intrigued them. Like, okay, maybe there is discussion. It's so Tommy is doing what he needs to do. I absolutely do not blame him for not coming back, or even if he ever comes back. I would love for him to come. He is my favorite. Chibs is my favorite character in Sons of Anarchy. If you guys don't know, it's not Jax. Sorry, Sandra, it's not Opie. It's definitely not Gemma. It's Chibs. It's okay. Chibs is my favorite. I love Chibs. I got an Irish mechanic jacket with a patch, and it's Irish. I love Chibs. I love Tommy Flanagan too. I've seen Tommy Flanagan's work. I think he has this great look. So, power to him, pun intended. Do your thing, Tommy. And maybe, if they do get another season, if they really want to commit to this war, please, FX, please, Disney, please give these guys money and contracts and let them be a full cast member. And let's finish it off strong. Like I said in my last video, I don't think there's going to be anything after Mayans. Honestly, I think this is it. And if you're gonna end this, end it the right way. And let's see where all the because they're connected, they're in it. Tig is in it. I want to see what happens to them because that's going to be the last time we see these characters. Jax Teller. Liberty of family community. That's what's confusing. Jax would not want a war. We have no clue why Sam Crow wanted to go. War was to be more than basically saying like he wouldn't have wanted it. Montez, even when Montez dashed, he still probably wanted it. Jax's whole legacy. Sometimes I'm just like, damn. Like, did they really? The Jax's sacrifice and the whole finale is starting to get like a little tarnished. It's starting to like not pay out the way it should, I guess. Us thinking like that was it, and I was satisfied with it. It's kind of crumbling a little bit. Here's the one thing though, Sandra, this is why I think Jax's legacy though, or what he did, his sacrifice. Here's the one thing that's holding strong though, that I think means more than anything that he did for the club or wanted to do for the club. What he wanted to do more was his sons to live a life without the club, for his sons to be safe. He gave his sons to Wendy and Nero. that was, I think, out of everything he did, his sacrifice, that was probably the most important thing he wanted. We haven't gotten a spin-off. I've always said I did want a spin-off of Abel and Thomas, but if we didn't, it's a nice little, it's a nice thought to think that Jax's uh, sacrifice, his wish, is still holding up. That the boys are okay, they're fine. Maybe they know the past, they know about his dad stuff, but Wendy wants them nowhere near that, and they don't want anything near that too. So, I mean, that's a cool thought to have, unless they do a spinoff, or unless they do a continuation with the boys, and then there goes that. Green light, Coco, or someone shot and Tig and Alvarez and hanging out. That was from Channel. Jermaine, I think Tig and Marcus are gonna talk about the past and talk about the war. I mean, I think everybody's assuming that, honestly. I think Alvarez will reach out to Tig after the Sons shoot a member of the Mayans to try to stop the war. Hey, that's an idea. We might get, that fallen Mayan in the beginning of the episode. That's an idea, huh, Sandra?
Well, the thing is that I'm wondering is, so San Bernardino has the green light to start the war. How are you going to start the war? You're going to just do the same thing as Mayan did? You're going to go knock at the door and you're going to start shooting? Or they're going to say, hey, let's talk. Okay, we're bringing a war because you killed a Montez. And then Mayan's going to be like, what are you talking about? We have no idea what you're talking about. That's what I'm excited and waiting for, which I thought it was going to happen already, not like in, because now you're cutting the amount of episodes for the war. But how are S.O.A Charming San Bernardino going to actually bring the war to Mayans?
Yeah.
I mean, they get the green light. We know Sons of Anarchy, they shoot and have to ask questions. And that was one of the biggest thing that we had. It's like, how many times did they get into trouble because that's what they were doing?
How many chase scenes do we have? How many scenes where motorcycles were falling? And there's a lot. There's a lot.
I mean, come on, the whole shooting of Pope, that was because they acted before he knew what was happening.
Yeah.
And like it was it happened so many times, and we know it's just TV, but it's always shoot and have to ask questions. So is SOE gonna do that? Shoot all the Mayans and then ask, like, did you guys know that you killed Montez? And they'll be like, what?
Do you think there was more action in SOA than Mayans?
I think that's a very good question. There was a lot of killing, but I think it was more calculated and we knew it was going to happen than with Mayans. It's a weird one. What do you think?
I like how you said calculated, because I think that's what we're missing here. It's a lot of calculated stuff. I mean, everybody. What was the one up? The episode was with JJ, when we were talking JJ a little bit. When we said that he might know the deal that Easy did, talking. But Jax, and a lot of people pointed out, Jax did the same. But what was crazy, he reversed it and he played the Uno card, and he used it to his advantage. Will Easy do the same thing, or use, I don't know what the whole JJ thing is going to be dealt with, but I think there was a little bit more action in SOA. But SOA had 7 seasons, so maybe I'm thinking everything together. Channel says marketing was a SOA and Mayans war. It stretched for 2 more seasons. I know they have to get renewed and ratings, but I know. So if anybody knows the ratings at this point, I haven't checked. If anybody knows the ratings and how it's doing, please comment below and let me know how the ratings are doing and if it's not looking good or if it's actually looking good. So maybe people are enjoying the show and watching it. Let's see. They said Chips gave the green light. Yep. Bobby did bring him into the Sam Crow. Yes, Bobby did bring him in. We should see Quinn too, cause he was with him when they patched into Sam Crow. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Unfortunately, the actual person, Tommy Flanagan, doesn't want to appear. They had to do the best they could under these circumstances. Yes, I agree. But if you do a war and you're going to put that in a storyline, you want all your main players. So next season, if they get a next season and they're continuing the storyline, I want to see all the main players. It just doesn't. It's kind of having an Avengers flick, right? Without, let's say, before Endgame, it's kind of having an Avengers flick and no Captain America or no Iron Man. Well,
Don't
what?
don't don't bring Iron Man. Please do not.
I love Iron Man.
I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry. Don't cry. It's been like how many years, Sandra? He's gone.
Well, I'm still feeling bad about Opie, and that's even longer than Iron Man. So don't get me started.
Yeah, people are still broken about Opie. He's dead, guys. Let it be.
Hey, you're so mean. Continue.
I'm here in the present. I'm just kidding. Kim Twitter shows Tig beat up. Kim's Twitter shows Tig beat up. Oh, so maybe there is a punch or some things going down. We'll see. Well, it's just it looked like it's just Tig. I'm assuming he's gonna have a posse with him. Hopefully.
Well, I'm hoping he's not coming by himself.
I know. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right?
No, not at all.
It's extremely likely we will see Happy and Quinn again. So, we're probably lucky.
I really want to see Tio next to Tig.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, bring Tio back, man. I really love Tio. We're probably lucky to even get more Mayans. Yeah, we don't know the budget for Tommy. Absolutely right. We said that last season. Like, you guys, man, it was looking, it was looking like a toss-up, but they renewed it. He actually did an interview and talked shit about Mayans, saying something to the effect of his new role of power is better than Mayans. But it is like because he's not in Mayans. He's not really in Mayans. He only did one cameo. Jibs, I know, is from Sons of Anarchy. If you show me an interview where he's talking shit about Sons of Anarchy, then we'll talk. But I'm not gonna diss the man by saying, because he honestly said what he said about the Mayans. Someone want to tell me if Mayans a 10 out of 10 show? I'll look at you and say you're fucking nuts. You're absolutely crazy. Because it's not. It's not a 10 out of 10 show. It had potential, but it's not. If somebody says it's better than Narcos, I swear to God, I'll throw this goddamn Dr. Pepper can at you.
One thing I want to say is that we always been waiting to see if Mayans was renewed or not, depending on the rating and stuff like that. I can tell you, and I actually sent you the screenshot about that. FX, their most successful show right now in FX is Snowfall, and I sent you the screenshot that it was done by them. And they actually renewed Snowfall for another season and the last season. By the time they aired the 9th episode of the present season. So I think it's going to be a hit or a miss. If this season doesn't go to what is expected, that's when we're going to find out that maybe they're going to have to do a second version of the 10th episode of this season if they want to shut it down once and for all.
Yeah, they I don't think they announced the renewal until before the finale, right? I think it was before the finale or maybe the second episode to the finale.
Yes, I think so.
It was really late in the game. I remember.
Well, also, we didn't know nothing because the whole COVID situation pushed everything. But as a regular season, we should know if there's another season or not by the 9th episode.
We'll see. We'll see. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm still gonna watch this shit. I mean, especially with Tig coming back. You know, you're absolutely curious to see what happens there. Let's see. This show would be in a way better shape with Sutter. Disagree. Sutter. I think maybe another showrunner. Elgin's did the best he can when Sutter left. So I'll give him that. But I honestly don't think Sutter would have been any. Just looking at that first season, and first season, it's his baby. First season, his hand. If you look at the behind the scenes, that's him. And I didn't think the first season was that great. So I don't know. It's it's up in the air. We will never know. I just hope if they do a first nine or a continuation of Sons of Anarchy, they patch shit up with Sutter and he at least. I wouldn't want him to be directorial debut or stuff, but like a producer on it. You know, just give him a guideline, a line, like kind of like what George Lucas did in the Star Wars films. You know, that's his baby, that's his creation, but he's giving the groundwork and stuff. I was one. I was the one who alerted them to the Mayan storyline heading towards war. They both hadn't seen an episode of Mayans. I think they're talking. I don't know what's going on.
I think he's talking about Theo and Kim.
Oh, okay, okay. Facts. Ended the right way. Season 2 was the best. 10 out of 10. The show should be more like that. I think season 2 was the whole Galindo storyline too, right? It was the whole mom. Yeah, Galindo's mom. I
Carry
didn't.
on.
Thank you, brother. That's what I always wondered. Jack's Teller legacy. Like I said, his children are safe. They're not part of the club, so technically, that's his legacy. That's what he wanted the most when he sacrificed himself. His legacy started going downhill season 2, episode 8, when the VM attacked. Yep, he wanted them to live without Sam Crow, the kids. Yes, I would love to see Nero and Wendy somewhere married. I don't want to see them married. I don't want to see that. Good friends. Give me good friends, not married. But I would love to see Wendy pop back up. At least see maybe a final shot of the kids, you know? Maybe the final shot is Easy's riding somewhere, passes like, I don't know, a freaking farm or something, and sees the kids and Wendy's in the background. He doesn't know who they are, just a happy family. That'd be nice. That would tie up the loose ends for 2 spoke of. We need a spinoff of Chuck being married in Ohio. My boy Chucky, man, just thrown off the wayside. Well, I think the actor said he was something. The actor said, I think there was a reason why he left, but let's see. Chases galore. I think Ezekiel will use the kill switch to become president. What do you think, Sandra? I mean, the kill switch is very much thrown at us in this episode.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm very baffled that this wasn't happening anyway. What made me think when he was talking to Alvarez about the kill switch and then he was talking about Bishop and Conche is that, dude, Bishop's done and Conche's probably done, right? These two are probably getting killed. And a lot of people are thinking that the chick that, of course, the widow that Bishop is, that was banging, like she might have a alternative or a motive, or it might kill Bishop herself because of what they did to her man. I don't know. I was like watching that scene again. I'm like, I think just Bishop is just all coked out, all drugged out, and all alcoholed in, and he just wasn't doing it. It just wasn't his best performance.
Let's bring up something that I do not understand, and I'm hoping that there's another something coming in the future. Is why did they give so much attention to Manny to send him back home in the season?
And then I think in a promo, he's still there, isn't he?
I don't watch promos, so I don't know what's in the future.
I actually saw the promo, so I think he's still there. Because Conche wants him to gone because he doesn't like the relationship he has with Easy right now.
I understand that, but I'm just hoping that there's going to be more to it because I think Manny, the relationship between Manny and Easy, I like what I'm seeing because
strong.
it is a strong, and it's the future wanted to do things the right way and not being like the old ones and just like not thinking in the future, just like this, like fighting the fight personally instead of thinking of the future for the club.
I wonder if Manny sets up Conche then.
Maybe.
Because I think he sees what Marcus sees and he thinks that Easy is the future, and maybe he sets up. And the only way for the future to the bright future to be ahead is to take out the ones who don't want it. Bishop and
Well,
Concha.
Manny and Easy for me, they would be the future of the Mayans.
You know what? Yeah, I like this. The man played by Manny Montana, I believe. Manny Montana. Manny is actually, I'm growing to like this character.
Yeah,
He's very easy with the talk, easy with the he's very soft spoken. He's has a head on his shoulders. The whole Randall situation, he kind of knew what to do, and he's like, nah, screw it, He's very laid back. He's a cool character that you can get behind with, and I think the relationship with him and Easy, that is something I actually enjoy seeing. I would have liked it like a couple seasons ago, but we're getting it now, and I could see it build. So I agree with you, Sandra. It's I like it. So I think
yeah.
Manny's doing a good job. We'll see what happens. I think he is one of the main players going to continue in these episodes. It's just you're right. I don't know how they're going to work. Well, maybe because of the war. I don't know. Maybe because of
Maybe
the war.
because of the war, they're gonna have to all get together and get like the story, the pity shit beside, and say, you know what, we have to be all together for this war.
Which is
Because
funny, but what's going to happen with El Paquero? What is he going to do? Like
do we need him?
I wanted him, but I don't know where they're going with it. I like El Paquero,
Do
but
we did we need to see his sister and talking about his mother?
unless something I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
just saying, what
I
did
don't
that
know.
bring to you more?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna try to predict this, but I don't know. It's like there's
Because
just too
again,
much.
there's too many storylines right now.
It's
So
too
we
much.
have the story, we have the Vaquero, the Adelita, the Bishop on his own. We got the Gilly. There's too many, and then we have a war.
It's so weird, Bishop banging that chick, and it was just so awkward and weird. I don't know.
It, you know what? It didn't. That scene didn't bring anything to the fucking storyline. The whole drinking and getting punched, that was enough for me. Like, or like Gilly walking into like Bishop banging her. Like, really?
Another cut. You're right. That could have been unless like they're trying to show that she's gonna try to murder him or something. But it wasn't. Well, he was the president, so he did the okay of killing her. Whoever she was with at that time. I think that was the guy who got beat by the baseball bats with Angel and Gilly. I think. I'm not quite sure though. All right, let's see. What else we got? Come on, come on.
We have good conversation going. Like that chat today, it's awesome.
Let's see. More enemies in S.O.A. Mayans used to have other gangs to fight, now just themselves. And the Civil War, man, like, there's still tension, but man, we're moving away from it. We're moving to S.O.A. And this writing, man, this writing team just, I don't know. I want to be in a writing room and say, like, what the hell are you guys smoking, dude? What are we doing? You are all, what are we doing, Elgin? God damn it. I don't want to be frustrated. I want to praise. I love to praise. I just watched Doctor Strange 2. It's mixed reviews. People saying that it's not what they expected. And I loved it. I praised it. I want to praise. I want to praise Mayans. I want to praise that. But I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and say like, oh yeah, that was great. It's like a slice of Costco cake, chocolate cake. No, it wasn't. I had no damn milk. I didn't like it. Will we see T.O. Rat Boy, Happy Chips to all together be like getting to the band together?
Hopefully.
Hopefully, the way it sounds like, we ain't gonna get no chips though.
No.
Unless they give them the scheduling and everything lines up, and they got money, and they're bringing another season, and they want to continue this war and finish it off next season. You got to bring everybody back.
Yes.
But I'm not expecting these guys to be in this a lot this season. It looks like the bald-headed guy, he's the one that wanted the war. So he's the one that's going to do most of the war. I don't give a shit about that guy. Do I care about that guy? I forgot his name. I don't care.
That's as We just know he's the bald guy that talks to Jesse
Yeah.
about the cut. About that, that's as much as I know about him.
It's nice to have some SOA nostalgia, but they should let the Mayans stand on their own. It's like trying to bring SOA back. They should be their own show. Let's move on. I don't have a problem with it at this point,
I
but it
agree
had to be.
a thousand. I agree 1,000%, and I said that since episode 1 of season 1. Mayan should be on his own, and the only reason why they're bringing so much SOA is because they want the people from SOA to be involved into Mayans. That's the only reason they're mismatching the two of them. Because if they had left Mayan on his own without any word of SOA, you wouldn't have the people watching in. And that's the reason why they brought up Chips last season and they're bringing up Tiggs this season. And that's my opinion.
I'm gonna say that I don't mind it. It's just the execution has been horrible, so I
Mhm.
don't mind it. Need to bring back the Swole Boys. Always, every comment, every video, Swole Boys. I think Tommy was right. Swole Boys for life, basically. On the one comment, they're hovering around. Oh, here we go. So Electro says they're hovering around 550K to 680K weekly viewers. With that 680 coming the first week, got to get those numbers up. So they dipped. So they went from 680 the first week in the beginning, and they dipped from to 550. I forgot what numbers are really. Well, obviously, the lower the numbers, it's bad. But I forgot what numbers you need to really kind of be at to be kind of like in a success. Be interesting to see Snowfall's numbers too.
That's what I'm
Compare.
going to check right now.
Let's check Snowfall's numbers. Where are the Swole Boys? Yeah, it was just before the finale. What really happened behind the scenes with Kurt's exit is the story. I love to see light of day be more action packed than Mayans. That whole story with Kurt and FX and Disney, there's a lot of stuff to that. Yeah, that's a mock documentary on its own. Let's see.
So Snowfall,
Uh huh.
their numbers is 3.66 million views.
And this is only its highest is 680.
And that's why they were saying Snowfall is the number one show for FX.
I'm very curious. Look up Always Sunny in Philadelphia's numbers, because Always Sunny in Philadelphia is like season 14. So what are their numbers compared to mine? Always Sunny in Philadelphia has been in the game for a long ass time, but they continue to renew it. And I know What You Do in the Shadows is up there too. He was being
Always
Sunny
there for season 8 was at 8.48
million,
million views.
8.48 million,
Yep,
and Mayans can't crack a million.
exactly.
Guys, you know this might be the last time you guys are gonna be commenting on podcasts about Mayans after this season, because that's not good. That is not good.
And you know what's gonna probably happen? And I just saw Princess was talking about like streaming. Um, Maybe that's gonna be something they're gonna move into streaming platform only.
For me, that's already happening because I can only watch this in Hulu.
Correct.
No, I don't think anybody really has cable anymore down here.
But I'm just saying, like, um, because I've seen other shows into the TV network that they actually moved it after the 5th episode of season 1. Let's go on Paramount Plus. Like, I'm just afraid that if that's the case, then they will kill totally Mayans.
Yeah. Electra says the actor who plays Chucky was doing stage play work up in Cleveland. Really did fall in love. Moved there and couldn't make the needed commute for the shooting of the Mayans. Actually, I thought I heard about that last season. Yeah, I think that I was kind of tripping out because he actually did fall in love and stuff. Let's see. Bishop is the opposite of what he was last season. It's hard to watch, even when Clay was near uh, out bad. He was still rocking and had Pool. Bishop got nothing. Bishop is done. He's you're
I
right.
actually agree with that. As much as I hate Clay, I hated him since day one.
I love Clay.
Clay as a fallen president is way better than what Bishop is showing us. But then again, we cannot blame the actor on this. It's the writing. So we
No,
have
the
to make
actor
that
is
really
still doing a
clear.
great job. He still
Let's
has
make this, yes,
presence. He's doing good. It's just the writing. And like what we've been
exactly.
saying in this episode or in this cast, the writing continues to let us down.
Yes,
Princess Conche pissed me off breaking up to my new besties.
agreed.
Do you think Manny makes it out alive this season? Yeah, I do.
Yes,
I think Diaz sets up Conche to shoot Padrino.
I don't agree on that. Dan
No,
cannot kill Marcus. As much as Dan wanted to kill Marcus 2 seasons ago, Marcus not going anywhere.
I don't think Marcus is going anywhere now. Hey, I just want some, I want good execute. If they
You
execute it,
want blood. You
I
want
want
blood
blood.
on a
There ain't no
main
blood in
character.
this series, man. Like episode 1, people were supposed to be fallen. Bodies were supposed to be counted.
But okay, hold on. Let's make sure that we understand what you want. You want blood of a prime character, not just like one that's behind the scene and the shop.
What were they doing with him, Sandra? They weren't doing anything with him. Let me remember him at his glory.
I agree with. Please, you're talking to another Marcus fan here, so don't get me
They're
started on
doing
that.
good with him now.
They
Finally.
are.
I like Mixwell said I think Manny is an undercover agent and he's way too nice. That's a good
Ooh.
one. That is a good
But
one.
when a undercover goes to the point of all those tattoos, that's really getting to your undercover position.
They do. They do. Well, I've seen a lot of stuff about
Well,
Hell's Angels and
maybe he's
people.
working for Potter. Hey Potter, can you answer us in the chat?
Yeah, are you alive? She wasn't even lecture time. She wasn't even moaning or anything. She had a stone face entire time. I think maybe because it just wasn't good lovemaking, or maybe after him. I guess.
Nah, I think Bishop could even get it up. Sorry about that, but because she was like waiting for him.
Uh,
Just saying.
bring back Nonka theme song. So the first theme song from the first one. I really like that theme song from Mayans season 1, the opening. Uh, Atlanta, the best show on FX. I hear it's really good. I need to check that one out. FX does have some good shows. I think Fargo is one of their most prized ones too, award-winning ones. I still haven't seen Fargo. Marcus ain't going anywhere.
No, he's not.
Dan, you are the man. Of course I am, of the podcast. Love your Sons of Anarchy coverage. I feel we are carrying the ball for Mayans. How much publicity Mayans really gets?
None.
None. If honestly, I don't think I'd be as big of a channel for the Mayans thing if there wasn't a lot of people covering it. And that lets you know something that a lot of people don't really cover Mayans because nobody really. You saw the numbers. You see the numbers where they're at. It's not a crazy hit show. Let's see. What if Ezekiel and Manny are undercover all along? Well, Ezekiel just had that deal. That was it in season 1. Okay, so I caught up with most of the
Yeah,
comments.
Princess says Bishop was trying. Yeah, he was trying, but
That's their fault with the lack of marketing, creative direction Minds has taken. If the show was half as good as Sons, people would tune in. Yes, but make no mistake about it, Sons of Anarchy is a superior show. We say Mayans, we want to give it a chance. We want, I like the show. I don't love the show. I like it. But the potential that's there is so wasted. And I'll never say, since we're in season 4 already, this show is just not as good as Sons. but it could have been, or it could at least been close to it. It's just the writing's really bad. They have the pieces, Sandra. It's just they're not putting it together as good as they can be.
You know what? And people in the chat, of course, bringing it up if I'm totally wrong, but 9 times out of 10, when you have a successful TV show and then you try to do like a sub of it, the sub of it never is as good as the original one.
Yeah.
Same thing with sequels of movies. Some like it's never. And you know what? After watching Sons for seventh season, you have a way of mind of how the show looks and how it is written and everything. So trying to do the same with Mayans is hard because you cannot compete with something that was so successful. So I understand that it's hard for Mayans to be as good, but it could be better than what we see.
I'll say this, Sandra, and people, I know this is a Mayans and Sons of Anarchy cast, and I always praise this show. I'll let you know though. I like Sons of. If I go back and rewatch all of it, I think Breaking Bad is the superior writing show. But if I go back and have the most fun and characters and the most tragic character to me, and what I enjoyed a little bit more, I think Sons of Anarchy is better than Breaking Bad because I love the Sons of Anarchy universe. I love all these characters. I love a lot of things that they presented. Sometimes goofy but great. But superior writing show is Breaking Bad. I'll even say I think Vince Gilligan. So you make the comment of there's it's hard to duplicate what you created, right? This hit. I think Vince Gilligan's way better than Kurt Sutter. Look at Better Call Saul. Maybe not as crazy as Breaking Bad, but the way he sets up from season one into what the current season is, the way he sets up these characters that you don't think you're going to care about, but you do. The guy knows what the hell he's doing, and that Better Call Saul is right there with Breaking Bad. Now with I wanted somewhat the same thing with Mayans. It's just kind of crazy how it all started, with Kurt Sutter leaving, with Elgin James taking over, with just the pandemic. And then it's just kind of crazy how up and down the Mayans have been. There's been great episodes, but then there's been some really inconsistent streak of episodes. And we're continuing, and it looks like we're continuing that. But we're probably going to get some good episodes. I think maybe next episode would actually be a real banger. And we're going to praise it, and we're going to love it. And we're going to be like, why did they do that last week? But yeah, Mayans. I mean, what haven't we like? There's just so many storylines. Do we really need to talk about the creeper scene, the Miguel scene, the Emily scenes? Do we really need to talk about them? No, we want to talk about the scenes that matter. We want to talk about the green light on the war. Conche and Easy's just strain, like this tension that they're having. Marcus having to get all these kids together to work together. That's an interesting one. Is Marcus having to come back and really bring these charters back together. And to do that, he needs some right hand man, and that's why he sees Easy. So, of course, I don't blame FX and the team for bringing Sons of Anarchy on here, because what is there left to like? They need ratings. They need something. And honestly, if I'm not, I like I said when I did my video, I don't think there's going to be any more Mayans anything, any more Sons of Anarchy anything. That's it. These characters are done. They're retired probably. So at least give me like a satisfaction of a fantastic war, and maybe knowing what happens to the characters we knew from the season finale of Sons, of Happy, of Tig, To if he comes back. I don't know. It doesn't really look promising this season on the ward, honestly. Yes, Tig is back, but is Tig here for more episodes? Or is he just
Yeah,
there to get beat up or talk to Alvarez and that's it?
yeah.
Well,
That's what I want to know. I want to know if Tig will actually be part of the war.
I think Breaking Bad had the better ending, by the way, than The Sopranos. But I do love The Sopranos ending. Because let you know, Tony was either going to die or go to jail even after that, even after they had that dinner. Okay.
And
Um,
I agree with Jack Steller comment that they want ratings so bad they pulled out CM
CM
Punk.
Punk.
You are correct. That's a fact.
Oh, no Emily today, please. Happy Mother's Day. Okay, no, yeah. Yeah, no Emily today. Best
No.
TV show, in my opinion, is Fringe. But I'm a huge sci-fi and horror fan. I think I've heard of Fringe. The Wire, I hear, is fantastic. I need to watch The Wire. Okay. You know what? I think battery life is going low. I think we talked a lot. Great conversations. Great, opinions. I know. I know, guys. We're all watching the show together. We all have feelings towards what we're watching so far, whether it's good, whether it's bad. I know some of you are way more knowledgeable than me on this Sutterverse, so to speak. I know there's a lot of storylines. I think the great callback too was when Easy punches Bishop, and he says, "Keep your ex-president in check," where Bishop did the same thing. Keep your prospect in check. So that was a good callback. That was great.
That was. I actually like that part. I That part was enough for me with the bishop. If they only showed that part with Bishop, I was fine. The rest was all like
That
fluff.
was good. See, that was some good writing right there.
Yeah.
Um, yes. So that's gonna be it. I know everybody's excited for Tig. We are too. So we'll see what comes of that, if anything. Uh, so we're just gonna have to wait and see, man. I just hope it's not a slower paced episode next episode. I'm ready for a faster paced. I'm ready for like storylines to look like it's gonna end pretty soon. Let's just focus on the main stuff now, please. But we'll see. Let's see. A couple more comments. Still love the show. Yep, the receipt was paid in full. Thank you guys. Make sure on the way out, hit the like buttons. Make sure you tell everybody to subscribe to this channel. I got other videos on this channel as well. My Doctor Strange 2, if you guys seen the movie, my review is up. Really excited to talk about that one. I actually will be doing a podcast later on with my two buddies talking Doctor Strange 2. And then also more Mayans videos. Two videos are going to be coming. I'll be probably uploaded later on tonight as well. Um, yeah, just go ahead and check out the content. And then I will have a special. I'm going to be showcasing later on in the future, maybe towards after a couple episodes of Mayans, showcase my collection, my S.O.A collection. So I have an S.O.A collection video, so you guys can see all my figurines, my cool cut, all that stuff I have.
Are you competing with my collection, Dan?
Your collection was probably better. You probably have a lot more. We might have to show Sandra's collection. I might have to get together with you on that. We'll do a collection video there. Thank you guys. Thank you, Sandra, for joining me once again. We'll try to get this. I actually think I have work next Sunday, so we might do, if we can, maybe we could do it on Saturday next weekend.
Actually, I was going to say I'm on the road next weekend.
On the road next weekend. So maybe we'll hold off and we'll do some. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe a double header after that. We'll see. We'll see what we do. Thank you guys for joining. Love you guys' comments. Love you guys' enthusiasm. You guys have a good Mother's Day. Whoever's a mama or their mama, and just enjoy the day.